to another episode of Success Blueprint. I'm your host, Scott Hansen, and today we have a very special guest with us, Mr. Paul Farahvar. Now, Paul was named 40 under 40 for Outstanding Illinois Lawyers and is partner at the law firm Cuisinier Farahvar. Paul, welcome to the program. It is great to have you.
Thanks for having me, Scott.
Absolutely. So tell us how you actually got started in law. Did you always want to be in law? Was your family in law? How did it all kind of transpire?
Well, I come from a family of doctors, actually.
Okay.
I'm kind of the oddball black sheep of the family. I always liked to argue when I was a kid, so I guess I knew I was going to become something. And when I figured out that I would be a good lawyer is when I would get my friends and I out of trouble when the police would come to parties and it would send me out to negotiate. So I think I always kind of wanted to be a lawyer, but then after I graduated from college, I went to law school and figured it out.
So you started out as a young man. You can argue, you can negotiate, you can get people out of trouble, and now you do it for a living.
Basically, yeah. Same concept. I enjoyed it, and I was fascinated by the law as a kid, and here I am.
So what excites you most about being a civil litigation attorney?
Well, I do civil litigation, mostly on the defense side.
Okay.
And what people don't realize is that when you're a trial lawyer like myself, 96% of cases settle. So, unfortunately, the thing that I like doing the most is trying cases, but you don't get to try cases as much as people think. So I like to be in a courtroom, which, as a trial lawyer, you are in court every day, but it's not, what you see on TV with objections and gavels. It's 40 lawyers sitting around to basically talk to a judge for 3 minutes. So
it's not as glamorous as they make it sound.
Not at all. No. You're basically listening to every other lawyer talk about why they didn't get certain things done by their deadline, or asking for more time, or there's motions for telling on the other side. It's like tattletailing. If someone doesn't do something, you bring a motion to compel them to do it. I'm really good at those motions.
So obviously you're doing something really well. 40 under 40 for Outstanding Illinois Lawyers. How did you get that?
I think it just that's something that's really important to me because you're just selected by a committee of your peers and other lawyers and people in the industry, and I think that's great recognition. That means that I've met the bar that I need to, no pun intended, of just working and doing what it takes to be a good lawyer. And I've had a lot of cases, I've had a lot of trials, so I think that was something lawyers under 40 years old don't get to see. So that might have been part of it.
Very good. And I know besides doing civil litigation, you also do entertainment law.
Yeah.
Can you explain a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I have a background in music. I used to be a musician. I was in about 14 bands in Chicago.
14?
14 bands, yeah. But I was asked to leave 14 bands in Chicago. So I think that the thing is, I learned a lot about music. I could speak to creative people. I feel like I have that background, and I like to help them and give back. So, I deal with a lot of musicians for when they get contracts for record deals or licensing deals, and we also assist them with their developing corporations and things like that. So that was my background in music, and I kind of still like to keep in that field.
Staying on that subject, like you're not busy enough, I know that you're a partner in a law firm. You do entertainment law sort of as an ad hoc, a little bit on the side for your entertainment clients, but you also have another passion. Can you explain what that other passion is?
Well, in addition to music and law, I actually do comedy. I'm a stand-up comedian and an MC. I do shows mostly in Chicago, but I travel a little bit. I'm a regular at the Laugh Factory here in Chicago, as well as the Laugh Factory in Las Vegas. So yeah, I do stand-up comedy. It's another avenue for me to get attention. So if you're not in front of a trial or a jury, you get to be in front of a group of people.
That is really cool. Are you the only lawyer here in the city that has such a following, maybe in the comedic world as well? Do you think?
I know that there's another lawyer in New York who also does comedy, and I know there was a judge in New Jersey who does comedy, but I don't think there are a lot of stand-up comedians who have that are practicing lawyers. I know there are a few that had law degrees, famous comedian was Greg Giraldo, who passed away recently, but he had a law degree from Harvard. He worked as a lawyer for like a year maybe, and then he said, that's not for me, and he became a very good stand-up comedian.
So how do you juggle it all? How do you juggle it being a very effective lawyer? You know, we talked about the entertainment piece, we talked about the civil litigation, some of the other things that you talked to me offline about. But then again, you don't just do the comedy acts at the local pub. You do them for some of the biggest venues, not only here in the Midwest, but also in Las Vegas. How do you juggle all of that and yet still not only maintain your sanity, but be an effective lawyer?
Well, I think that to be an effective lawyer, I need that outlet. I need that creative outlet to just keep me sane. Otherwise, I would be an angry lawyer. And I think that sanity and keeping me creative and keeping me on par with people that are not lawyers, it keeps everything in perspective and makes you a good lawyer. I also think I'm really good at time management. I know that I don't waste a lot of time. I don't have a social life either, but I also I manage my time really well, and I think there's a good balance where you can make both things work if you care enough about something. So I don't have a family either, so if I had, instead of a family or kids, I'm doing comedy. So
now is your time to do it.
Yeah, right? I got a few more years left.
Yeah, exactly. So someone's watching this, they're saying, man, this guy seems like he's really got the life. You know, you were sharing with me offline. You know a lot of prominent people here in the city that own a lot of restaurants and a lot of really cool companies and big companies. You do your thing, and yet you're also an effective lawyer. If someone's watching this saying, how does Paul do it? I would love to do what he does. What makes you so effective as a business person? Not just maybe a lawyer, not just someone who does stand-up or hosting, but you do it all. How are you so effective?
Well, if you think I'm effective, I think it's because I have a passion for what I do. I think you have to have a passion for what you want to do in life, and if you don't care about it, it's going to show. And people can see fakeness, and if you don't believe in what you're talking about, whether it's law, whether it's what you're singing as a musician, or doing stand-up. I mean, they say in comedy, truth is comedy. You know, what I talk about are true stories, and I talk about myself. Same with the law. You know, you've got to have a passion for your clients, and you got to listen.
Awesome. So in rounding up here, so in finishing the interview, I want to ask you, where can someone find out more about you, your business, or where you're going to be at next, or anything you want to share with the audience?
Well, to find out about my law firm, you just go to the website. It's Cuisinier Farahvar, which is just cndflaw.net. Okay. That's my law firm. You can contact us there. All our information's there. To follow me about my comedy, I'm on Facebook. It's just Paul Farahvar, and I'll accept you if you are looking. I put out my schedule there for all my shows. I run a show every Thursday night at the Laugh Factory called Singles Only. Every Thursday at 10 o'clock, and then I'm also I'm all over town, so look up the newspapers. People read those still, I don't know.
Well, this has been a pleasure. Thank you so much, Paul.
Thanks so much.
It's been a lot of fun. So that wraps up another episode of Success Blueprint. If you want to be a guest on the show, you can email me at scott@scotthproductions.com. If you're a business owner and you're looking to be coached, you can also connect with me, scott@scotthproductions.com, or follow me on Twitter @ScottHanson1210. As always, go out and make it a great day because you absolutely deserve it.